Welcome back. You're watching Credin. Well, more than 100 days off sick, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews returned to work today, revealing he almost died after slipping on stairs at his holiday house in the Mornington Peninsula, back in March.
I became airborne almost, so I'm horizontal with the step, and then all I could hear was just this almighty crunch, and that's when I knew that. And when I heard the crunch, I thought, this is serious. We're in trouble here.
It was awful because you were going blue and we were looking at each other and I was thinking, you're going to die.
We'll discuss the Premier's return and a whole lot more. I'm joined by my Monday panel tonight from Perth broadcaster and host of the Jane Marwick Show, Jane Marwick, and from Melbourne Executive Director of the Institute of Public Affairs, Jon Faine. Jane, I'll start with you. You've been in the media a long time. You were a broadcaster. People asked me last week how they were going to handle his return, and I said, he'll need to do a very sort of carefully managed sit down, deal with these questions before he turns up to his first press conference. Then he can do what Julia Gillard was brilliant at and say, well, I'm sorry, I've answered that. Another question, I've answered that, move on. I dealt with that yesterday, which is precisely what happened. That was a very, very slick and expensive, I suspect, video that he put out yesterday. And it meant today there was not many places the media could go without looking like they were trying to verge into the nasty. It worked, I think.
Oh, very, very clever, very, very slick. I particularly like it when the sad piano music starts. I used to make promotions no one wanted this to happen to Daniel Andrews, and by all accounts, that was a horrible, horrible accident. But this was a very slick, clever way to come straight back in. We read about Jon Faine's interview with him that didn't get published in either the Sunday Age or the ABC. You're right. Very few places to go with questions. It's terrific propaganda. It's very clever propaganda to go, here I am, this is what happened to me, the piano music starts. You feel sorry because it's a terrible, terrible accident, tugs on your strings, move on. No questions to be answered here, Peter. It puts aside all of the questions and issues that people had, including that MP's pay rise that I saw you announce on Friday night on your program.
Yeah, another $10,000, $402,000 he's paid. John, interesting today when he was back, he's there in the hard hats looking at a tunnel, not in his hard hat out in Dandenong where people still haven't got power tonight. I thought that was an interesting missed opportunity. But today, every time someone pushed him quite properly on the detail, not the rumours. I've never aired the rumours on here. I think, the rumours are too far. But any detail, Jon Faine, all you got back was, that's vile, I'm not going to talk about it. And he played a really strong blocking mechanism. The Parliament's not sitting now for 5 weeks, so there's no opportunity for the opposition to pursue him. We're not going to really know what went on, are we?
We will one day, Peter, but for the rest of Australia, this is how Victorians have been living. We haven't got answers on what happened. We haven't got answers on how hotel quarantine was bungled. We haven't got answers on what's the plan for Victorians. This is what happens when effectively you live in a one-party state, and when, unless it's someone like you, Peta Credlin, asking the questions, you will have the media here in Victoria complaining about the Liberals asking quite reasonable questions of Daniel Andrews as to what happened. And we have to remember, he was out sick and his accident was bad. He was earning $100,000 while not at work. Now, for most Victorians, you might be on work cover, you might have some form of insurance. But this idea, again, that we sweep this under the carpet, this is another example of the massive failure of the media to interrogate anything Daniel Andrews and the Labor government does.
Yeah, look, and if it all was as simple as he said, 4 months on, why didn't he just come clean March, April, May or June about any of that stuff? I mean, why have to wait till the night before he comes back to work for a slick and expensive video? If it is as simple and as straightforward as everything, this should have been done months earlier.